In the previous episode, we got to work on the main area, which included building out a huge lake, as well as adding some buildings, all while giving it a steampunk vibe. Today we will continue on that by building up the rest of our ride, G-Force. Another day of work. Time to get building. But before we begin building, I did say I was gonna work on the interior of these buildings off screen. First up, we have locker rooms, so you can put in any stuff that you don't want to take during your time at the park, and at the end of the day, you can get them back. There is also a vending machine to attract some guests. Inside the guest services, this is where you can get your speedrun pass. That's what my park calls the priority pass. Judging by how long the line is, it seems like guest services is really popular. Look at this guy wanting to sell up some coffee. Despite the pack not being steampunk related, the Western pack for some reason had some really good pieces that had a steampunk vibe to it. With the success of the sorcery pack, I would love to see a steampunk pack. We've also got a candy shop, and if you're wondering what this machine is what makes this candy, as it's powered by gears. Next up, this one was a bit of a rushed one. I couldn't decide what to put here, so I decided to put a sushi restaurant here. It was last minute. Last but not least, we have yet another store where you can get some merch. Yeah. Anyways, let's build up on our ride. For the design of this station, I'm gonna go for sort of like a futuristic, like hexagon look. There's gotta be something that can give off that sci-fi look. This can do. In like of a hexagon shape. This can be like our root point. That might be a bit too tall. Maybe this height can do. Make this a bit of a light blue. I'm not sure what color this should be. I'll figure that out in the end. We have to rotate this a couple of degrees. Extend that out. Do that again, but this time it has to be at a slighter angle all the way down. That is interesting, but it's getting somewhere. This time it's not rotated 2 times, just like the left side. That looks good. We just need to copy this, bring us around. There you go. I think we need to widen this a bit more. All better now. Now we can get started on the walls. This is gonna have 2 lines available. Fill out the walls entirely. This is gonna have to take a while. There's gotta be something that can be nope, that's the wrong size. Is there at least anything that can have a better size? Keep this all filled in. This is something. This is gonna take 1 eternity because there's no XYZ scaling. I think the best thing for us to do is that we should probably just use some regular shapes. Once again, I want some XYZ scaling because I said so. Duh. Bring this all the way across. This is frustrating. Looks like we'll have to reduce the angle. That's okay. We're gonna need to form a hexagon shape because this is gonna have a lot of hexagons. Get that side. Flip this rectangle around. Apply this. Bring this around all the way to the end. It's not so bad, is it? And yes, I know this is a bit plain, but don't worry, we can fix that. Now for this one, we're gonna have to lower the snap. That way we can have a little bit of a bevel, build the whole thing up. That way it's not just looking like a big old blue mess. Eventually, I would like to have a store below the station because all rides must end with a gift shop. That is looking amazing. Drag this down to the center. That is definitely giving a good bevel there. Maybe we can turn off the snapping. We're also gonna add some windows on this wall. Now this one is gonna have a less of an angle snap, still keeping the depth though. Bring us around. We're just going to them all except one so that we can have our reference. I'm gonna have these just be gray colored, and these will also have snap distancing. How high should we build these anyway? Copy it on 3 sides. That is something. Gonna have to get rid of the snapping off that. 31, maybe 33. Yeah, I think 33 is gonna do. That is not right, but whatever. As long as we get the job done, we should be good. Go back to 11.25. The ceiling should be a different color. Scaled all the way. Maybe a little bit at around 45. I don't know. Build out the ceiling. After so much work, the station is all covered in. Unfortunately, this is looking plain. And I've got some ideas to fix that. First and foremost, I recommend we add a fence so that people don't die. Make sure this is all covered in blue. Drag it all the way across because that's the standard. And maybe these fence posts to give it some spice, give it its gray colors. And I'm just gonna place on the spots where they should be. There you go. Now we're talking. For the outside of the windows, I'm gonna add like some blinds in case the windows want to be closed, even though they're not really gonna be closed. That one's a bit of a purple blue. Rotate that a little bit. Make this around 20. Duplicate that. Copy it to every single spot of this rectangle. Add in some metallic details. Place them on the bottom side of the window. Place some pipes on the ends. Copy and paste that. Almost looks like a spaceship, to be honest, with its sci-fi look. We could probably add some of these. Add some detail on the side. What else? What else? How about some of these? Actually, no. Whoa, that is too big. Add some greeble to the sides. This support is gonna look nice. I'm gonna go ahead and copy all this. Paste it all along. What the heck? Something ain't right there. Okay, I think it's fixed. Continue all of this. Ta-da! For the hexagons, I do want to bevel them out. This might work. It's a bit of a grayer color. That's definitely touching the track, but that's fine. Copy paste that. I think the exterior might be complete. And with that, we're gonna work on the rest of it. This time in the form of a time lapse. So, lights, camera, action! Okay, after a few days of work, I have officially done it. I have built the queue and station of my ride. And I gotta say, this looks absolutely amazing. But first, let's go on a tour. Starting from the beginning, you've got 2 lines, 1 standby and 1 speed run. As you enter the queue, you're gonna be inside a huge room filled with machinery and props. Wrapping around the queue is the reactor, which is said to be responsible for making the ride possible. Without it, the ride wouldn't exist. And we've got ourselves some storage crates for some decoration, and also a fence. This also acts as more so a museum with some props on the tables. Some of them might be familiar from popular video games. If you take the speedrun pass, however, you will be greeted by the shelf of consoles, which are the consoles that I played in real life. We've also got an armory, which are just made from animatronics, except that they are deactivated. We've got weaponry with a bunch of swords and spears. If you take the regular queue, you'll be greeted by yet more machinery. This machine, however, is powered by YouTube play buttons, which eventually we'll get in the future, but now's not really the time. You will then find your way inside the workshop, filled with yet more machinery, a table with the blueprints for the ride vehicle, which I made in Photopea. No AI was used. We have someone fine-tuning this car with the help of some robots. After making your way out of this queue, you're then ushered into the room, which is Looks like the pre-show is about to start. Moving on inside the pre-show, we've got myself as an animatronic and a computer. I was a bit lazy, which may explain why this is rushed. The animatronic is based off my Roblox avatar, even though I'm no longer making any more Roblox videos until we get a new CEO. I'll explain that in a later video. After you exit the pre-show, you will then be greeted by lockers. That way, you can store loose items that you don't want to fall out of the ride. These are double-sided, by the way. After putting your stuff away, you are then greeted up a ramp. Eventually, the burger guy, he's not gonna last very long, as I will put my own video in there. Finally, you've made your way into the station, which honestly looks like a spaceship. And we've got some hexagon lights hanging from the ceiling. And yeah, and there is a light effect, which I'm gonna show you. Let me switch it to nighttime. That blue color looks very pretty. Oh, here comes the train. It may have been a little hard to see, but I did add a light effect in there, so when the train dispatches, these lights will go off. As you may have seen in the time lapse, originally I was going to add some fog effects in there, but I felt like it was too much. After exiting the ride, you make your way across the hallway, where you can get your stuff back, and then yet another staircase, where you meet yourself in the gift shop, where you can pick up some merch related to G40, or you can buy your ride photos here. I thought it'd be appropriate to call it G-Store, because get it? G-Store? As in G-Force? But that's not all, however. I added this, gate-like, thingy. I'm not sure what to call it. It's more so for decoration. It does have lights and sound in it, but I'm not really going to show that to you. The only thing that is missing, however, is the ride sign, but that's probably going to be either off-screen or on-screen. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you got any ideas, don't forget to put them in the comments. And next week, we're going to try and finish up on the main area. Anyways, bye-bye!